Most men think a conversation is just words, but the truth is, a woman is quietly deciding how she feels about you long before the conversation even ends. And the scary part? Most men never notice the exact moment she emotionally checks out. A woman can smile, laugh, even keep talking to you, while internally deciding she never wants to see you again. And tonight, I'm going to tell you exactly what women secretly notice during conversations, the things most men completely miss. Because attraction is rarely destroyed by one big mistake. It disappears through tiny moments, tiny signals, tiny reactions. And what I'm about to tell you later might completely change how you see women forever. Most men focus on saying the right thing, but women focus on something much deeper, how you make them feel while you're speaking. And once you understand this, conversations with women will never feel the same again. The first thing women notice in conversations is your emotional control. Most men don't realize this, but a woman is constantly watching how emotionally stable you are when things become uncomfortable. Not your money, not your looks, your reactions. For example, imagine she disagrees with you about something small. Maybe music, maybe politics. Maybe she teases you a little. Most men instantly become defensive without realizing it. Their tone changes. Their energy changes. Suddenly, the conversation feels tense. But here's what actually happens inside her mind. She starts wondering, if he reacts like this over something small, what happens during real conflict? And this is where everything changes. Because calm confidence is deeply attractive to women. A man who can smile, stay grounded, and not lose himself emotionally feels safe. And emotional safety creates attraction faster than clever words ever will. But the next thing women notice is even more dangerous, because most men accidentally ruin it within minutes. Women notice how desperate you are for validation. This one is brutal, because desperation rarely sounds desperate. It hides inside small behaviors. Trying too hard to impress her, talking nonstop about achievements, fishing for compliments, agreeing with everything she says. Most men think they're creating attraction, but what she actually feels is pressure. And women can sense emotional neediness incredibly fast. Imagine talking to a guy who constantly needs approval from everyone around him. You feel exhausted. That's exactly how women feel around men who seek validation during conversations. But here's the strange part. The men women remember most are usually the ones who seemed completely comfortable whether they were liked or not. That quiet confidence creates mystery. And mystery creates emotional tension. But what happens next is something most men completely miss. Women notice whether you truly listen or if you're just waiting to speak. Most men hear words. Women notice attention. There's a huge difference. A woman can instantly tell when a man is mentally preparing his next sentence instead of actually connecting with what she's saying. And honestly, it makes her feel invisible. Imagine she tells you a story about her childhood. Instead of asking deeper questions, you immediately turn the conversation back to yourself. That small moment tells her something powerful. It tells her you're more focused on performing than understanding. But when a man listens carefully, remembers small details, notices emotions behind words, she feels emotionally seen, and emotional connection is addictive. Most men try to impress women with information, but women become attached through emotional presence. And the next sign women secretly watch for reveals a man's true confidence level almost instantly. Women notice how comfortable you are with silence. Most men panic during quiet moments. The second a conversation slows down, they rush to fill the silence with random words. Jokes, stories, nervous talking, anything to avoid stillness. But here's what women secretly notice. A man who fears silence usually fears judgment, and that nervous energy changes the entire vibe of the conversation. Meanwhile, a confident man can sit in silence without looking uncomfortable. And strangely, that calmness creates tension. Good tension. The kind that makes a woman think about you later. Because silence is powerful when you're emotionally comfortable inside yourself. Most men don't realize this, but attraction often grows in pauses, not words. And the next thing women notice might hurt a little. Women notice how you talk about other people, especially when those people aren't around. This reveals your character faster than almost anything else. Imagine a man constantly insulting his ex, complaining about coworkers, mocking friends, judging strangers. Even if he's charming at first, something inside her starts pulling away emotionally. Why? Because women subconsciously think, if he talks like this about everyone else, one day he'll talk like this about me too. But here's what actually creates attraction. A man who can speak honestly without bitterness. A man who doesn't need to destroy others to feel important. That emotional maturity feels rare. And rare things become valuable. But the next point is where many men lose attraction without even realizing it. Women notice your relationship with attention. This is subtle, but incredibly important. Some men desperately need to dominate every conversation. They interrupt constantly. They turn every topic back to themselves. They need to be the funniest person in the room, the loudest, the most impressive. But here's the problem. Confidence doesn't beg for attention. Insecurity does, and women can feel the difference immediately. A truly confident man doesn't compete for energy in a conversation. He naturally creates it, and this is where everything changes. Because women are deeply attracted to emotional steadiness, not performance, not desperation, not noise, but calm certainty. Now, before I tell you the next point, I want you to be honest with yourself. Have you ever felt a conversation going well, only to realize later she slowly lost interest? Comment real if you've experienced that feeling, because what I'm about to explain next is one of the biggest reasons it happens. Women notice whether your kindness feels genuine or strategic. This one changes everything. Many men act kind during conversations because they expect something in return. Attention, validation, affection. And women feel that hidden expectation almost immediately. It creates invisible pressure. Imagine a guy being extremely nice, but the moment you don't respond the way he hoped, his energy changes completely. Suddenly he becomes cold, passive-aggressive, distant. That's when a woman realizes the kindness wasn't real. It was a transaction. But genuine kindness feels different. There's no hidden contract behind it, no emotional manipulation. And women deeply trust men who don't weaponize kindness. But what happens next is something most men never think about. Women notice how present you are during conversations. Not physically, mentally, emotionally. You can sit across from a woman while your attention is everywhere else, checking your phone, scanning the room, thinking about what to say next. And she will feel it immediately. Because presence is emotional focus. And emotional focus makes people feel important. Think about the last time someone gave you their full attention. No distractions, no fake listening, no performance. It feels powerful, doesn't it? That's exactly how women feel around men who are truly present. And in today's distracted world, presence feels incredibly rare. But the next thing women notice might be the biggest attraction killer of all. Women notice when you're trying too hard to become the perfect guy. Most men believe women want perfection. They don't. Perfection feels fake. What women actually respond to is authenticity. A man who can admit mistakes, laugh at himself, speak honestly without pretending to be flawless. That emotional honesty creates trust. And trust creates emotional intimacy. But here's what actually destroys attraction. When a man constantly filters himself because he's terrified of rejection, she can feel the performance. And performances are exhausting to connect with emotionally. This is why some perfect men get ignored, while imperfect men with real confidence become unforgettable. And now we reach the two most powerful things women notice in conversations. The things that secretly decide whether she feels emotionally drawn to you or slowly disconnects forever. Women notice how you make them feel about themselves. This is deeper than flirting, deeper than compliments. Some men talk to women in a way that feels emotionally draining. The conversation becomes all about impressing him, pleasing him, validating him. But certain men create a completely different emotional experience. A woman feels relaxed around them, comfortable, interesting, safe being herself. And those are the conversations women replay in their minds at night. Because people rarely remember every word you said. They remember how they felt around you. Most men chase attraction directly, but attraction often appears indirectly, through emotion. And the final thing women notice in conversations is something almost nobody talks about. Women notice whether you truly value yourself. Not through arrogance, not through bragging, but through energy, boundaries, standards, self-respect. A man who constantly tolerates disrespect over-explains himself, or seeks approval during every interaction quietly communicates something powerful. That he doesn't fully believe in his own value, and women feel that. But when a man respects himself emotionally, conversations feel different. His words feel calmer. His reactions feel stronger. His presence feels grounded. And this is where everything changes. Because real confidence is not loud. It's not aggressive. It's not about dominating conversations. Real confidence is emotional security, and women notice it faster than men realize. Most attraction is silent. It happens underneath the conversation, inside the emotions, inside the pauses, inside the energy you bring into the room. That's why some men can say very little and still become unforgettable, while others talk endlessly and leave no emotional impact at all. So the next time you speak to a woman, stop obsessing over the perfect line. Pay attention to the feeling you create, because women are always listening to more than your words. And once you understand that, conversations stop feeling like performances. They start becoming connections. If this opened your eyes even a little, subscribe, because there are still things women notice about men that almost nobody talks about publicly. And trust me, the deeper truths are the ones most men are completely unprepared for.